Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Martine, and if you are new here, I do videos on Vedic astrology mainly, but also with some tropical insights, and I focus on both relationship and natal astrology. And if you like this video and you would like to hear more content from me, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. And also, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you. So today's video, as a short introduction, is in continuation with the series on Mars through the houses for all ascendants. Now, please help me out here with some feedback before I continue. Please comment in the comment section if you like this format, or if you would like it better if I did separate videos for Mars through the houses to explain the general description separately, and then do separate videos for each ascendant. Like, for instance, let's say Mars in the 3rd house for Aries, a separate video, then Mars in the 4th house for Aries, and so on. I'm just curious because I was thinking about switching up the format for this video, since they tend to turn out quite lengthy and they're also quite time consuming. So I was considering maybe breaking them up into smaller videos. Okay. And it also in the introduction, I have tackled the general description for Mars in the 2nd house in the first video that I made, part 1, which was for Aries to Virgo, ascendants from Aries to Virgo, and I will be linking that video in the description. So I do suggest that you watch it, at least the part with the general description for Mars in the 2nd house, because it helps you get an overview of the aspect, and also that description will also stand for all the other more specific descriptions for Mars in the 2nd house for all the ascendants. But I will not be repeating the information that I gave there, okay? So I suggest that you watch that first to get an overview of how the placement plays out through aspects and everything. Because I also tackled like Mars's aspect, you know, special aspects, the 4th house, the 8th house from where it sits, and how they affect you if you have Mars in the 2nd house, okay? So that's what I wanted to say as an introduction. So let me get straight into it. Mars in the 2nd house for Libra Ascendant. Okay, so this means that you have Mars in Scorpio. Okay, so something that I can say about this is the ruler of the 2nd house will be in the 2nd house for you, which means that this is very good for finances. It shows that you'll be very interested in acquiring possessions of all sorts and increasing your wealth by any means. And you might be really very good with handling finances in general, but it also shows that you can also be very stingy when it comes to your money. However, that's probably also why you tend to be good at finances, because you really keep a close account of everything that you spend and everything that you earn, okay? To you, acquiring wealth and a sense of self-preservation are tightly linked to each other, so you are really very careful for your, you understand that having a good financial situation is very important for your well-being and also your sense of self-esteem and self-worth. Another thing that I can say is your spouse is likely to contribute to your financial well-being, and most likely there will be some conflicts happening between your spouse and your family of origin, okay? There might be some kind of an objections to your spouse, okay, from your family of origin. Another thing is that you are definitely going to be a very powerful and very persuasive speaker. So you're the kind of person that can actually change people's minds through your speech, and people will tend to listen to what you have to say, okay? But you can also have a tendency to come across as maybe a little bit overbearing at times, so be careful not to sound domineering. You might also get involved in music if other placements in your horoscope will support this, because you have a very strong influence of the 2nd house, okay? Ruler of the 2nd and the 2nd. Some famous examples include Rachel McAdams, Ashley Benson, Kate Walsh, Shah Rukh Khan, Mark Twain, Maurice Ravel, who is a pianist and composer, and Gavin Rossdale, who is a singer. Okay. Okay, moving on to Ascendant is Scorpio, Mars is Sagittarius. So for you, Mars will be ruling the 1st and the 6th houses. Something that I can say is that your image, your personality, as well as your physical body and any profession where you make the most of these are apt to bring you money and increase your sense of self-worth. Competitions are also an area that can definitely help to boost your finances. So you could, so this is helpful, for instance, if you want to be like a professional athlete or any person who is a professional competitor on a regular basis, okay, because you can boost your finances through competitions, okay. But even if you're just, let's say, working in a corporation, you could be boosting your finances by, applying for different jobs or like any situations where you are made to compete against others. That's where you will tend to shine. Okay, your competitions, your competitors, actually, subordinates, and even your pets, are things that can increase your self-esteem and your financial well-being, and also keep your family of origin happy. Another thing is losses of the spouse will affect relations with your family of origin. They could affect them negatively, I mean. Your voice is both imposing and wise, okay? So there could be conflicts with younger siblings and your mother. You're very driven to succeed artistically, and you could especially succeed in arts if you have other supporting placements in other places of your horoscope. Okay, some famous people who have this configuration, Ascendant is Scorpio and Mars in Sagittarius, include Catherine Zeta-Jones, Anne Hathaway, Jenna Marbles, Brad Pitt, Mark Ruffalo, Marlon Brando, Usain Bolt, and Alan Watts, who was a philosopher. Okay. Ascendant in Sagittarius, Mars in Capricorn. So this is the 3rd ascendant for this video. Mars rules the 12th and the 5th houses. Okay, so this can bring potential losses to your finances if you are not very careful, especially since you might feel drawn to gambling, okay, or risky investments. So you need to be careful, and if you're thinking about getting into investing or getting into, stocks and stuff like that, you have to make sure that you will get the proper information about it and don't throw yourself headfirst into risky ventures. You are also just generally a very driven person because Mars is in Capricorn and it's exalted. And chances are, because of that, because of the placement in the 2nd house as well, you will eventually reach a really good financial position at some point in your life. Of course, the more supportive aspects there are, the more likely it is that you will reach a very good financial position in life. Your children, your creative projects add to your sense of self-worth and your financial position in life, okay? Foreign lands imports especially can greatly help in achieving your financial objectives, as well as any activity in creativity, imagination, so things that involve creativity, imagination, and or places of isolation and confinement, such as hospitals, prisons, religious temples, and also things to do with meditation, spiritual pursuits. Okay, these activities are likely to bring you financial success. Okay, some famous people with this placement include Elizabeth II, the Queen of England, Mariska Hargitay, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, she's an actress, Dolores O'Riordan, who was the lead singer of the Cranberries, Joanne Woodward, of course, the famous wife of Paul Newman that I kept mentioning in several videos, Charles Aznavour, who is a famous singer and composer, Steve Irwin, the crocodile hunter, and John Belushi, who was a comedian. Okay. Ascendant in Capricorn, Mars in Aquarius. Okay, so Mars in the second house for Capricorn Ascendant. Mars will be ruling the 11th and the 4th houses. So Mars here... Okay, again, Mars is ruling the second house, and... No, actually no. Mars is ruling the 11th and going into the second. This is, again, a really, really good position for wealth. So you're going to be a person who is naturally business savvy. You are going to be very motivated by, finances, by increasing your wealth. And you're going to be particularly gifted when it comes to networking, okay? Especially since Mars is in Aquarius, which is the sign of, networking. And also the 11th house shows siblings. So you could go into business with friends or with older siblings, or they can help you somehow increase your wealth, okay? So take their advice if they have advice to give about your finances. Mars rules the 4th house going into the second. This shows good instincts when it comes to real estate. So that's another potential field where you could be successful. And another thing is that you could actually inherit real estate from the mother side of the family. It also shows that you are quite fond of your homeland, okay? The basis of your self-worth was set in childhood due to the mother figure, okay? And or due to education from the mother side. You value your mother a great deal. You're also quite introverted and don't like to show your intentions generally, but you are also quite driven. Okay? Some famous people with this placement include Jane Fonda, Billie Holiday, Tori Spelling, Chris Isaak, Ralph Nader, who is a political activist. Ascendant in Aquarius, Mars in Pisces. Okay, so this is a strong placement for a career connected to the second house because the ruler of the 10th house falls in the second house. So anything connected to arts, especially music, or any Venus-connected trade, consultancy, partnership-based work, restaurant business, hotel business, beauty businesses, textiles, sweets, artworks, collecting stuff, collector activities, all of these are fields that you could succeed in professionally. And it also hints towards a desire to be self-employed because Mars also rules the 3rd house. Of course, in order to actually see if you are mainly gonna be successful being self-employed, you have to look at the entire horoscope. If there are other supportive factors. You could gain wealth from the government and also just from any state-ruled institutions, from the justice system, for instance, as well as from neighbors and younger siblings. So, again, if this is a position where you could go into business with a neighbor or a younger sibling. So you could also work for the government, especially if there are other placements supporting this. And you could also easily become a motivational speaker or some kind of a religious leader because Mars is in Pisces and in the 2nd house, which is the house of the voice. Alright, this is the one where I found like a lot of cool examples. Well, 2 particularly telling examples, okay. Okay, some famous people include Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. She was a Swiss-American psychiatrist and a pioneer in near-death studies. Dani Saval, who was a French actress, particularly famous in the 50s and 60s. Shirley Jones, who was also an American actress and singer, Jim Baker. And oh, this is the Jim Baker, I think that's the way it's pronounced, who was an American televangelist and eventually was convicted of fraud. And this one, like, it's funny because I first wrote the description, the general ideas for each house placement, and then I came across this example after I said that you would be a good religious leader. And this one really, well, unfortunately, this one was not a particularly good example because he was a fraudster, but the man was successful being a televangelist, I guess, so it kind of checks out. Oh, and the second and last example that I wanted to mention was Auguste Lumière, who was a French engineer, industrialist, biologist, and an illusionist who invented a photographic camera that took him to worldwide fame, together with his younger brother. Okay, remember I mentioned in the description that you could go into business with a younger sibling. And I actually checked, his brother was 2 years younger, okay? Okay, so these were the examples. And now moving on to Ascendant in Pisces, Mars in Aries. So Mars here is particularly happy because it's in its own sign. So this is, again, another strong wealth position because the second ruler is in the second house. And on top of that, Mars also rules the 9th. Okay, so the 9th is also in the second house. This is a really good placement for financial luck. But for you, the risk is higher than for the other ascendants to come across as aggressive and arrogant in speech because Mars is in Aries, okay? So you can come across as a person who is overly assertive, and you might sometimes have a tendency to talk over others or interrupt others in their speech, so you need to watch out for that. Your gurus, your teachers, your higher education will increase your financial well-being, definitely. So you should definitely be considering that you might want to get higher education in order to increase your finances. And another thing is that you can just see your gurus as family. That's another interpretation. You can also gain wealth from foreign cultures, foreign travel, institutions of higher education, and religious or spiritual institutions. Okay, you can also make money teaching or publishing, or you could even have restaurants of foreign cuisine because ruler of the 9th is in the second, and Mars is real estate, so this would be actually a really good one. You also just love music, and if other configurations support this, you might definitely become a professional musician. You could be particularly drawn to classical music or music of religious themes. Some famous people with this configuration include Lucy Lawless, Olivia Hussey, English philosopher Thomas Hobbes, actor Michael Rapaport, and actor Christian Leblanc. Okay, so this has been it. Once again, if you have enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, hit the notifications bell. Please comment in the comment section with any feedback that you would like to give, and also please consider the things that I asked about at the beginning of the video. And also please continue to watch the ads to support my channel for free. Thank you. And yeah, once again, if you're interested in a personal consultation, I do consultations on a wide variety of topics. Please check out the video description. I will leave my contact information there. Thank you,